Hi, my name is Bethany. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about all the books that I read in March. So in my TBR, which I'll link down below, I described to you the synopsis of 6 of these books, which I planned on reading this month. I actually ended up reading 7, so I exceeded my own expectations, and that happens pretty rarely, so I'm pretty happy with myself about that, especially considering I didn't even start reading anything until the 16th. I don't know why I always insist on procrastinating, but anyway, let's get into it. I want to talk about these books in order of my least favorite to my most favorite this month. I've always been a save the best for last kind of girl, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's jump into my least favorite book this month, which would be The Handmaid's Tale. I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads, but I think it would be more of a 3.5. So I don't know if I should put that as a 3 or 4. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. So I did enjoy what this book had to say about feminism, and I think it was kind of a cautionary tale showing how we could end up in a society like this, with women being treated this way if we're not cognizant of our actions and we don't stand together as a people. I think that was one of the themes in the book. Maybe I'm reading that entirely wrong, but I also really liked the descriptions. You could really picture what was going on and you could really empathize with the characters. I did like this book. My mom, on the other hand, who's supposed to be reading this with me, she really was not enjoying it. I think she got maybe 40% or so on the audiobook and she didn't want to finish it. I'm still trying to convince her to finish it because I want her to do a review with me, but we'll see if that ever happens because she really didn't enjoy it. I'm thinking about picking up the Testaments, which just came out either earlier this year or the end of last year, after 40 years. I believe The Handmaid's Tale was written in 1980 or published in 1980. So only now that the sequel come out, but the sequel has even lower ratings, so I'm a little hesitant to read that one, but we'll see what happens. And then next was Her Body and Other Parties. So this is a feminist short story collection. I really did like a lot of these stories. The only problem I had was I feel like some of the stories got a little too, I don't know if fantastical is the word. I keep saying the word. If it was a little too fantastical, it was just a little bizarre and it got kind of unrealistic, I guess, in the descriptions. I don't know how to describe it. You would have to read it, but I did like what she did. I thought it was very clever and creative, and even though it was unrealistic, she really painted the picture of what she was trying to say. There was a lot of really powerful moments in this book. I recommend that anyone, especially women, read this book. I feel like you'll feel very represented. I know I did. It was just a little bit hard to get through certain parts that were really fantastical for me, but I still highly recommend this short story collection. I think everyone should read this. My favorite stories were 8 Bites and especially Heinous. I know a lot of people didn't like especially Heinous. I think it might be the longest story in this book too. It's based on Law and Order SVU. So maybe because I love that show, I liked it a little bit more, but I really liked a lot of the things that she had to say in that particular short story and the 8 Bite story. So those were my 2 favorites. I really like this book. I think I said I gave it 4 stars. Then I read a thriller, which was The Wife Between Us. So I'll give you a short synopsis on this one since I didn't put this on my TBR. So the main character is Vanessa, and she's kind of stalking this other woman who we find out is her ex-husband's new fiance. So we're trying to figure out why she's doing that. Does she just want to get back with her ex-husband? Is she psychotic? Is she doing drugs? What is the reason she's stalking this girl? And the truth kind of unfolds throughout the story. Of course, it's a thriller. So I wish that this had been a little bit more suspenseful. I always want to be a little bit more scared than I usually am when I'm reading a thriller, because that's kind of why I want to be reading a thriller. Maybe that's not what everyone wants. I've noticed that a lot of these domestic suspense novels don't really do that for me. So maybe that's the problem, but I did give this 4 stars as well because the plot twist did surprise me. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was fun. I had my mom read this one too, so if we don't do a review on Handmaid's Tale, at least we can probably review this one together. I think she liked this one as well. I read their other book, An Anonymous Girl, before. I think I gave that one 4 stars as well. I think I like this one just a little bit better. I know a lot of people hate one or the other, but I kind of like them both just okay. I know they just came out with their third book called You Are Not Alone. I have that one as well, so I'm gonna try and read that one soon. Next was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know that this is some people's favorite book of all time, so I'm a little scared to talk about it. I did really enjoy this book. It wasn't a 5 star for me, but it was a solid 4.5. I really like the way that Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote this character of Evelyn Hugo, how she wrote all her flaws and her shortcomings and her wants and what she was willing to do to get what she wanted. I love how that was all portrayed. She was really a full character. I feel like we don't always get to see such dimensional female characters, and I really love that about Evelyn Hugo and about this book. And I like the other character, Monique, as well. There was also a plot twist in this book that I didn't really see coming, and I feel like upped the rating for me a little. I overall really enjoyed what this book had to say as well, and it's always nice seeing strong female characters, so I would recommend this one to you as well. I would honestly recommend everyone read almost all the books I read this month, honestly. As long as you're over 18, because some of them are a little crazy, I'll let you know. This one has some sex scenes, but it's not as graphic as some of them, but still I would recommend you'd be at least a senior in high school, let's say that. Next was All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. This one is a little bit steamier as well, so maybe 18 plus for this one too. Also, the subject matter I think is probably better for someone a little older. I feel like it was something that I could really relate to, being newly married. It's talking about this couple and how they met and then their struggle with infertility and how it impacted their marriage. It was really heavy for me, but I really enjoyed the way Colleen Hoover portrayed infertility the way it is, something that's so heartbreaking to a lot of people, and just how much it can affect people and affect a marriage. So it really broke my heart to see their marriage in trouble. I ended up fully sobbing on my parents' living room floor where I was reading this, and my husband had to comfort me. But I really love this book. I feel like she didn't fall into some of the tropes for infertility and how suddenly in the first 100 pages they try to just fix it, like, but then boom, she was pregnant and then everything went away. So this book didn't do that. I really appreciated the raw and more honest, I feel, look at infertility that this book gave us. So if that's something you would be interested in and you found you didn't like how infertility was portrayed in a lot of other books, you might like this one. And I really love the romance between the two characters. So this one I would give a 4.5. And then my second favorite book of the month was Shrill Notes from a Loud Woman by Lindy West. So this is the true story of Lindy West's life. So I guess it's kind of an autobiography. So she's telling stories of her experience as a fellow fat woman, which we stand, and a loud woman in society. She tells her stories of navigating life in her fat body and what people had to say about it. She is a writer. She wrote a lot of articles. So she talks a lot about internet trolls and how people love to put down women and fat people in society, see fat people on the street and tell them, oh, you just need to stop eating so much. Tell her that she's not funny because she's a woman. She's also a comedian, so that's something she faced a lot. And she also led the charge kind of on telling her male colleagues that rape jokes aren't funny. So she writes a lot of pieces on that and she talks about all the backlash she faced for that. I really loved the way she portrayed all those struggles. I love what she did and her message, and I felt really represented by this. And I feel like a lot of other people would too. I honestly think that everyone should read this, even men. I think it might make a lot of men angry, but I think a lot of other men would really appreciate what a lot of women and people in general go through. So I think everyone should read this. I gave it 5 stars, and it's one of the 2 5-star books I read this month. And I haven't read a 5-star book since at least 2 years ago, but I think it was more. I'm gonna make this whole video talking about how I didn't read any 5-star books last year, but this was a 5-star for me. Everyone should read this. Really good. And then my final book, the 7th book, is Circe by Madeline Miller. Sorry. I love this book. It was so good. I don't have it with me anymore because it's on quarantine in my office because I was reading this while I was sitting outside the doctor's office taking people's temperatures. So I didn't want to really bring that back home with me right away. But I just love this book. I love Circe's character. I thought she was such a badass. Everything she went through and just took it in stride. And I don't know, I just loved her. I love the ending of this book. This was completely a 5-star book for me. I would really recommend you read this one too if you're a fan of Greek mythology. I'm not a super huge fan, but I was into it when we studied it in school. And also, if you like kind of witchy stories, I think you would like this one too. It was just a fun read, and I think it was what I needed at the time, which was another reason why I liked it so much. And just to talk about this challenge I did where I decided to read from all female authors and female main characters for this month of March, Women's History Month. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing these strong women, these powerful women, these women unafraid to be themselves, and appreciating the work of female authors. I think that people have been doing that more and more. A lot of booktubers I watch, I feel like they do read from a lot of female authors, but it was interesting to read from only female authors this month. I really enjoyed it. I think this is something that I'll keep up every year. I am excited to read from some male authors come next month, but I overall really enjoyed this. If you want to join me in this next month, I would love it. I think it's really great. I really loved all these books. If you want to read any of them, I highly recommend them. Let me know what your thoughts are on these books because I really love them. I don't think I'm going to be making a TBR for April. I kind of want it to be a surprise. And then I'll do a vlog at the end of April showing you guys everything that I read. So thank you so much for watching my video if you stuck around this long. Please give me a like if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. And thank you for watching. Bye.